From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update. Happy holidays from Weather NorCal and our sponsors. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Mike Krueger here for Weather NorCal. It was a wet day out there today. We got to see some pretty decent amounts of rainfall in the valley, about an inch and a quarter, a little bit more than at the Redding Airport, a little bit more than that in Red Bluff, about half an inch out in Chico, saw about 7,100ths in Willows, and along the coast here, anywhere from close to an inch in Eureka to a little over an inch and a quarter for Crescent City, and Hoopa over an inch and a half. But as we would typically see, just not as much off to the east here. Before we get to Krueger's Quickcast, here's what I'm watching as we go through the next several days into early next week. Number one, we've got moderate to heavy rainfall at times. This could lead the potential for some flooding, mudslides, debris flows, especially for your Friday night, and even into early Saturday morning. And with this storm system, the second one that's going to be coming through as we go into Friday and into early Saturday, we've got periods of heavy snow. And we're looking at the potential for some long stretches of snow where we got that steady snow coming for several hours. That could mean possible delays on I-5. We're talking snow levels as low as 2,000 feet, but somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 feet, just depending on your location. So there are going to be chain requirements. There are going to be travel headaches. So just be aware of that if you do have to travel in the mountains over the next couple of days. And on top of that, we've got gusty winds in the forecast. We could see gusts 40, 50, even upwards of 60 miles per hour also, depending on your location. But winds that strong could lead to the potential for power outages. So a lot that I'm tracking here. But again, for those of you that are in a hurry, here's what you can expect for tonight and into tomorrow as we take a look at Krueger's Quickcast. Here are the main elements that we're tracking here. Number one, the winter elements here. We've got the winter storm warning for many parts of Northern California surrounding the valley. Of course, I was talking about those winds. We've got the high wind warning for central Siskiyou County for these darker shades of blue. We've got a wind advisory. Again, those gusts 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. And of course, the rain element could lead to some flooding. That's why we have a flood watch for southern Humboldt County. Rivers, streams, creeks could be looking at the potential for rising and maybe even reaching their banks. And of course, that potential for mudslides and debris flows. And not associated with the rain, but there's actually a coastal flood warning along the coast until 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. We've got those high astronomical tides, and it could create some problems, and it will create some problems out along the coast. All right, so here's what we expect here for tonight. With the overcast skies and the rain, not getting too terribly cold. We'll call for the low to mid-40s here for the valley. That's pretty much the case here for the coast as well, but still pretty cold in the mountains, and that's why we do expect to see that snow in those higher elevations. Although we're getting a bit of a break from the wet weather here for tonight, which you'll see here on Futurecast in just a bit. But getting you out the door tomorrow morning, basically overcast skies anyway. You look at it, and chances for showers for pretty much everyone as we go into tomorrow morning. So there it is. That's flow heading right into Northern California. The first in 3 storm systems move through today. There's storm system number 2 and storm system number 3 way off to our west. So let's take a look at Futurecast through tomorrow morning at least, right? So there we are tonight. Minus a little bit of snow, flurry activity down to the south and east. We're actually drying things out here for tonight. But by tomorrow morning around 5 a.m., the coast, especially seeing the rain, and then through the morning hours, this will push eastward. Now, what we're noticing here as we go into the noon hour, it's actually not that wet down to the south. So places like Red Bluff, scattered showers, Corning, Chico, Oroville, Willows, some light showers, but it doesn't look like it's going to be all that heavy. That cutoff point may be right around Redding and then, of course, northward. You see the darker shades of blue? That's heavy snow. And, of course, that heavier rainfall to the west of that as well. You see that steady flow of moisture coming in through the day on Friday into Friday night at 10 p.m. and looking at some heavier rainfall. We begin to fill in that rain or that drier slot down to the south with some showers. And look at the heavy snow still around I-5 Mount Shasta, and of course the heavy snow off to the east as well. So that's what we have in store for us through tonight. We look at the road conditions forecast, and there you can see for your Friday morning at 5 a.m., all the areas in blue. Really, any color you see here is going to be in the form of frozen precipitation and mainly snow. So that's why we do expect to see plenty of chain requirements. And I am expecting that once we start to see that storm system push in the mid-morning hours, we could be looking at the potential for I-5. Seeing some chain requirements as well. Bottom line is this. You might be saying, well, is my area, is my mountain pass going to see chain requirements? Number one, you can't forecast chain requirements. It has everything to do with how, how Caltrans is able to stay ahead of the storm. Number two, it's just important for you to know that it's going to be snowing and snowing very heavily at times. And that's just an indication that you need to make sure you check the latest road conditions before heading out. That's just the bottom line. But there's a look at the forecast winds here for tonight. Not that bad, but look at this. By tomorrow morning, they're really picking up along the coast and also towards Shasta Valley. And then they're really picking up for everyone else here going through the afternoon, including the valley. All right, so for tomorrow, temperatures right around 50 for the valley. Of course, the rain will be heaviest to the north, not quite as heavy to the south. There you can see, of course, the showers off to the north and east, and of course, the snow. Snow on average around 3,000 feet, give or take, depending on your location. So we look at that 7-day outlook for the valley, off and on rain. Looks like maybe a bit of a break on Sunday. Still maybe some lingering showers Tuesday, but we do dry things out by Wednesday, Thursday of next week. It's also the case for the coast, inland, and for Trinity County. And again, those snow levels are going to be a little bit higher for places like Alturas and Susanville, but for the most part, still looking at that chance. And then we dry things out by Wednesday and Thursday. All right, that's Krueger's Quickcast. Now let's go into that deeper dive. We're going to start off with a satellite image, and we saw this a little bit earlier. This is the storm system that moved through today. You see the spin. You see another spin right here. That's storm system number 2. And then, of course, we've got storm system number 3. That's what's going to be here on Monday. This gap right here is what's on Sunday. This little piece of energy is going to get caught up in Friday, Saturday system, but we're going to see a little bit of a break on Sunday before the system comes in on Monday. Now, here's the overall setup. And you're going to hear me say it, and I know a lot of you are going to cringe because it's one of those things where you don't want to overhype something. But I've mentioned this before 2 weeks ago in not using the term atmospheric river as a scare tactic, but more as a tactic, or not a tactic, but more as a way to help communicate to you what's going on. Because an atmospheric river, by definition, is a narrow band of moisture that's being transported by very strong winds at the surface and above the surface as well. And that moisture, if you get it aimed for a long period of time over one area, you can get a lot of rainfall in a short period of time. Now, the thing is, you can see this moisture. You see how it kind of breaks up. We're not really seeing that organized band of moisture. However, you can see right here, aimed right at us through the day on Friday, you've got a small atmospheric river. We've got ourselves that moisture source heading right at Northern California. This is why I expect it most likely for many of us to see that steady rain and some of that steady snow. Is it going to rival the atmospheric river we saw 2 weeks ago? Not this one in particular, but I do think the amount of snow that we do see when we combine what we saw today through the next couple of days, the amount of snow, say, from Mount Shasta City may rival the amount that we saw with that atmospheric river 2 weeks ago. However, remember 2 weeks ago, it was in a matter of 12 to 18 hours. This snow that, say, Mount Shasta and other areas see is going to be in a matter of 24 to 36 hours. So there's a longer span of time for the same amount of snow. But by Saturday, we actually start to see Saturday afternoon, it begins to kind of push to the south. We actually see some clearing in some areas here. Sunday, we've got the break. And then there's Monday. There's Monday's system, another weak atmospheric river, believe it or not, that's going to be impacting us. But it's, again, I don't think it's going to bring as much rain and snow as the system we'll see for Friday and into Saturday. Now, high pressure builds in behind that as we go into your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that means drier conditions here as we go through the middle and even latter part of next week. So, again, we look at the atmospheric river impact scale from 1 all the way to 5. We're going to be somewhere around 1 to 2. What that basically means is we're going to be mainly in the primarily beneficial rainfall with some hazards in there. And we saw those hazards, right? That's why we have the flood watch for southern Humboldt County. This is why we've got the winds, which is going to create some problems here as well. So that's why we're in that atmospheric 2 category. Now, taking a look at the forecast model, you see these spikes here? This is taking a look at the potential for that atmospheric river. So the white down here means there's no atmospheric river. So what we saw today was not associated with an atmospheric river. What we're going to see tomorrow, you see that spike? We're going to be, now, there's a model here showing that it's going to be a weak one, another one saying moderate. So we're going to be somewhere in that category 1 to 2. That's exactly what I was showing you, right? Then we see that dip Saturday afternoon, and then the one coming in on Monday looks to be weak as well, in fact, much weaker. And then, of course, we're drying things out after that. So, yes, I'm using the term atmospheric river, but not as a scare tactic, not as a, ooh, you got to watch and get the clicks. No, this is just saying that we've got ample moisture that we'll be working with, and that's why we have that flood advisory, and that's why we can see the potential for some of that flooding. Now, we do have a break tonight. Storm system number 1, it's pretty much exiting the region tonight. For your Friday, you see how that's moving on in? Now, the rain will, of course, start on the coast, pushing eastward. As early as 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, we're seeing the rain making its way into the valley. We're also beginning to see snow in the higher elevations. All right, now we take you into 9 o'clock. You see how it's spreading eastward. So now everyone in the valley is seeing rain. Pretty much everyone in the mountains is seeing snow, say above around 3,000 feet or so, right? And then, of course, that heavier rainfall along the coast. Now watch what happens as we go into the noon hour. We begin to see it dry out for places like Corning, southward into Willows, but more rain up to the north. But even then, it's not that heavy. But I still think places like Redding, Red Bluff may see steady rain through the morning hours and even into the afternoon, steady rain for the coast, and steady snow right up here. And remember that last atmospheric event where we saw that snow just get dumped on in 12 to 18 hours, saw 30 inches of snow easily in that time frame. We could be looking at that not necessarily for tomorrow, but we're going to be rivaling that, and then, of course, adding to that as we go into Friday night and even into Saturday. But there you can still see some snow off to the east as well. All right. Take you through time. I mean, this is 5 p.m. You see how it's not moving much. We're not seeing a lot of rain to the south, but still that steady rainfall for Red Bluff northward into Redding, and then, of course, still that steady snow off to the north as well. And then, of course, we've got that steady rain. You see the main band of rain right here, right? Then we take you into Friday night. It's beginning to push eastward there. Now we're starting to see this shift to the east. So we're feeling that rain back into Chico, Oroville, Willows, heavier rainfall near Redding, heavy snowfall near Mount Shasta for Friday night. But you see we're getting the back edge right here. But that doesn't mean it's over with, because you see this? We see another band of moisture and another disturbance that'll be pushing through. But still, 3 a.m. on Saturday, you got the heavy rainfall, you've got the heavy snow. So this is when most of us are asleep, obviously. And then you've got the next batch of rain coming in. That pushes eastward, another batch of heavy rain coming in from the southwest Saturday morning, and the heavy snow as well. And then we go into Saturday around 9 a.m. Now we're on the back edge. No more disturbances coming in, at least anything significant. And we're beginning to wrap things up. By Saturday around noon, look at this. We're actually clearing things out for the valley northward. Heavy snow to the east, but another little batch of moisture off to the north and west that will impact us Saturday afternoon with more scattered showers. And you know what? Maybe even an isolated thunderstorm, especially with some of that clearing, we could see some convective thunderstorms. That's when you see the daytime heating, colder air aloft. Classic setup for showers and thunderstorms to pop up. So we could be looking at the potential for thunderstorms on Saturday. But still that's heavy snow up to the north. Then by Saturday 6 p.m., now it's beginning to clear out again. Still some isolated snow flurries out there. By Saturday night into Sunday morning, it's all pretty much done with, at least storm system number 2. Keep in mind, we've got another storm system coming in on Monday. All right, so how much rain can we expect? Well, there you have it, through 10 p.m. Saturday. On top of what we've already seen, we could see another 1.5 inches to about 2 inches of rain in the valley. For the coast, obviously more, maybe 2.5 to maybe over 3 inches of rain. You saw where some of that heavier rainfall is. But, I mean, looking at futurecast, you saw what was happening, right? I mean, you saw the periods, long periods of heavy rainfall and heavy snow, then a bit of a break, and then another period of heavy rain and snow. So you can clearly see why we're seeing this kind of pick up. And that's, again, why there's a little bit of concern, especially along parts of the coast, where we could see some of that flooding here because of that heavy rainfall. Now, looking at the snowfall totals, I don't know if I agree with all of this 100%, but I think it's doing a pretty good job here for places like Mount Shasta. On top of what we've already seen, we got 12 to 18 inches of snow. Dunsmuir, we finally have a good representation here of the different elevations, 4 to 8 inches in Dunsmuir. I think we could see a little bit more in Shingletown. I think we could even see some light accumulation out towards Bernie as well. Chester, 18 to 24 inches, certainly good possibility at 4,500 feet. El Turris, you can see 1 to 2. And again, we're seeing that lack of moisture. It's not quite making its way up to the north and east, and that's why we're not seeing as much rain and snow up there. Taking a look at those road conditions forecast, at least, 5 a.m., things should be okay on I-5 for the most part, right? And even on Highway 299. But as we go through the day, there's around the noon hour in the afternoon, we're getting those reds and pinks and even blues. That's indicating the snow. So chain requirements are certainly going to be a possibility. We'll have to watch for that on Highway 89 as well. And I would say Highway 299, you got to watch for it, especially for Buckhorn Summit. We saw it today. I think we could see some more issues here, again, especially for Buckhorn Summit in the mid-morning hours. And of course, with the higher mountain passes to the east, plenty of chain requirements are still going to be a very good possibility. All right, I know some people are heading out to the ski park for your Friday. I just say make sure you got the chains packed, but it's going to be a snow-filled day on Friday, and especially the first half on Saturday. As we go into Saturday, through Saturday 10 p.m., look how much we can see. The ski park at the base, about 50 inches, and maybe at the summit there, the summit of the ski park, about 65 inches. All right, now we change gears. We're talking about the wind. So we've talked about the rain, the potential for flooding. We talked about snow, and of course the travel delays. Now let's talk about the wind. Not so much of an issue tonight, but by tomorrow morning, those winds are picking up for the coast and Shasta Valley, and getting a little breezy for parts of the valley as well. But look at this. These winds really start to ramp up by noon. We're talking 30, close to 40 miles per hour for the coast, very strong winds to the north and west, and we're getting into that 20 to 30 mile an hour range in the valley, and pretty gusty off to the east. They're picking up even more for the valley by the afternoon. We're talking 30, maybe even close to 40 miles per hour. Still some very gusty winds to the north. Look at this towards Shasta Valley. I mean, you're getting over 50 miles per hour. This is obviously going to be a concern for big rigs, but power outages are certainly a possibility. When we start getting into that 40, 50 mile an hour range, power outages are certainly a very good possibility, so we've got to watch for that. But you'll notice by midnight, Friday night into Saturday, the winds are dying down to the west, but still very gusty in the valley, northward, and to the east. That continues into Saturday morning, but then the winds should die down as we go into the noon and afternoon hour on Saturday. So yeah, some strong winds here, especially for Friday and into the first half of Saturday as well. Looking at those wave heights, they are fairly high for your Friday. They may even be a little bit higher on Saturday. So as a result, the National Weather Service has issued a high surf advisory for this area right here along the coast here. That's what this darker purple is. That expires at 9 p.m. We also have, I believe, let's see what this is a, not a small craft advisory, but it's written on here. There it is, it's a gale watch. So we'll take you back to that. This area right here is the gale watch for tomorrow. So again, with the high seas, of course, the surf is going to be an issue. It's dangerous along the coast, and it's dangerous to be in the water. There you can see those winds from the south at 25 to 30 knots, waves from the southwest at 7 feet at 7 seconds, and of course there's that gale watch. And I forgot what it was. There's just so many. There's small craft advisory, and before I knew it, I was like, oh yeah, which one is it? Oh yeah, gale watch. All right, so there you have it. Temperatures low to mid 40s in the valley. We've got 20s and 30s for the higher elevations. This will support any snow. However, keep in mind, tonight we're getting a break from the precipitation. So we're just not going to see much in the way of snow or rain tonight, but by tomorrow that changes. All right, there you can see about 40 degrees in Weaverville, 42 for Douglas City, 45 in High Palm. We take you out to the north coast with 54 degrees out towards Blue Lake, 55 in Eureka, 52 in Garberville, and 55 degrees in Shelter Cove. Up north, about 55 in Smith River, 52 for Oric. There's Trinidad with about 57 and 53 degrees in Orleans. And for Siskiyou County, you've got those temperatures mainly in the 40s, although a little bit cooler for Weed or Tennant and even Mount Shasta, only reaching those upper 30s for your daytime highs. How about Modoc County? Right around 40, give or take. Look for a high of 38 for Canby, Aden about 38 and 40 degrees in Alturas. And for the Eastern Mountains, we're talking 39 degrees for Chester, 40 in Shingletown. Bernie, you'll see a high of about 39, and Paradise about 47 degrees. And your Valley Neighborhood Forecast brought to you by Walgamith Painting. You've got those temperatures right around 50 degrees for that daytime high. It's going to be on the cool side, really. 46 degrees for Whiskeytown, 50 in Redding, 50 for Palisadro, and Lakehead, about 44 degrees. So looking at that 7-day outlook for Redding, yeah, the rain continues. And of course, we'll probably see things dry out. Well, no, let's just put it this way. We'll see some clearing. We're not going to be looking at that steady rain on Saturday because more scattered showers even Saturday afternoon, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm Saturday afternoon. Then I'm expecting Sunday for the most part to be dry. I mean, if we see a straight sprinkle or light shower Sunday, don't be surprised, but that's the break. And then we have more rain on Monday, maybe a lingering shower on Tuesday, but drying out entirely. Yeah, more sunshine and even warmer, back up to about 60 by Wednesday, Thursday. Well, that's your evening update. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'll be back again tomorrow morning on your Friday at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Krueger at 7 a.m. Have a good night.
Barr & Mudford is a top, established firm here in the North State. Founded over a half-century ago, Barr & Mudford is protecting the rights of our neighbors and community. We take our commitment to our clients very seriously and provide a level of excellence unrivaled in the North State. Barr & Mudford, standing up for the rights of our neighbors and our beautiful community, serving Northern California with excellence.